On a dreary Saturday afternoon in 1963, shortly after President Kennedy was shot, there appeared a strange and unsettling sound. Doctor Who exploded onto our TV sets, and in just 25 minutes had made its mark not only in the history of television, but technology. One of the first uses of electronic music on television.
If the sound we want exists already, in real life say, we couldn't go and record it.
And, perhaps more importantly, into the fabric of British life. There is surely not a single person born in the UK who does not know that tune or recognise that box. In fact, as is stated by Justin Richards in the Legend Continues book I received as a child, he says of Doctor Who, "It has changed our cultural vocabulary in ways that nobody could even begin to suspect over 40 years ago. We now live in a society where a place that seems deceptively large is TARDIS-like, where pure evil is equated with the Daleks. Time travel is more likely to be associated with the Doctor than H.G. Wells, while hiding behind the sofa is a shorthand for that thrill one gets from the ambivalence of wanting and yet not wanting to see what happens next. The Doctor may have saved our world on countless occasions, but he has also changed it."
And can I take your name, please?
Yes, the Doctor.
Okay, bear with me, please.
Thank you.
Quite a coup then for the original creator Sidney Newman, producer Verity Lambert and director Waris Hussein, who, in their original plans, set out only to make a programme that would bring the family together. Now, with its 60th birthday on the horizon, and over 860 episodes under its belt, not to mention books, comics, radio plays, and a plethora of merchandise, it's truly astonishing how such a quaint, B-movie inspired adventure show has managed to last so long. One can only imagine the vindication felt by Verity Lambert in 2005 on its return to our screens after an almost 16-year absence, sadly only 2 years before her passing.
Rob.
The reason Doctor Who has endured should be obvious, but as I have found, almost all Doctor Who fans, including its stars, have different theories as to exactly why.
The answer I would like to give, and which I'm discouraged from giving because it is not useful in the promotion of a brand, is that it's about death. And it has a very, very powerful death motif in it, which is that the central character dies. People see that that's what happens in life. You have loved ones and then they go. But you must carry on.
It's often said that the show is about change, and in some ways, yes, it is, but at the same time, its core tenets of a mysterious time traveller in a police box and all of time and space at their disposal has forever remained the same. So what's the answer? For a while now, I've been considering that much like the titular question Doctor Who, the entire point is for it to never be answered, that it's meant to be elusive and mysterious, to mean something different to all who watch it. Even the Doctor himself can be interpreted many ways. Is he the Renaissance man made real? A Sherlock Holmes in space? Perhaps he's the Lone Ranger, saving the town but never permitted to stay. He could be an English gentleman, or now woman. Or maybe he's just your best friend. The answer, of course, is that the Doctor and the show are all of these things, or at least they have the capacity to be so. The ability to travel anywhere in time and space, in short, means anywhere in the writer or writers' imaginations, and therefore the audience's too. It's no wonder then that its fans aren't exclusive to the infamously stereotypical anorak, but by some of the world's most famous scientists, journalists, footballers, comedians, monarchs, as well as writers, musicians, and of course, filmmakers.
I'm the Doctor. Who? Correct.
The fact that such a wide variety of people, those who we may consider either highbrow or low, have found something to love about the show is a testament to its ability to be something for everyone, without compromising its very foundations. Foundations that were rocked and possibly nuked with Series 12's Timeless Child storyline, which decided to look back at the Doctor's origins and attempted to answer the unanswerable. With the show going forward, I would like to see a Doctor Who less obsessed by rewriting its past, and instead looking to a future full of interesting planets, cultures, and possibilities. Much like The Simpsons or The Twilight Zone, Doctor Who could be seen as a conduit for story, its many ideas transcending tone, genre and style. For Doctor Who to remain relevant, it's not that it must change for the sake of it, but that, much like the Doctor himself, the show must fit into a world that's constantly changing and, dare I say, outgrowing him. In the 1970s, the show's first major shake-up was with the third Doctor, Jon Pertwee, who for much of his tenure was kept on Earth, became more and more action-oriented to fit in with other popular commodities of the time, such as the Avengers, but not that Avengers, and of course, James Bond. They even went so far to give the Doctor his own car. In the 1996 TV movie starring Paul McGann as the Eighth Doctor, the show took on a distinctly 90s American TV style, the Doctor an outwardly romantic and dashing hero, for the first time laying lips on screen. The obvious choice at a time when TV productions in the US were adopting a whole new standard of production, much like today, and had understood the growing need for science fiction, a need misunderstood by broadcasters in the UK who opted for light entertainment.
There are people who enjoy it very much and are very vocal, as we know. When we do say anything about Doctor Who, I get more letters about that than anything else. The fact is that fewer people watch Doctor Who than anything else shows that there's some discrepancy there.
With its return in 2005, showrunner Russell T Davies was, naturally, inspired by US hit Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Not just the tone, but also the format of Monster of the Week stories that culminate in one big bad for the season finale, a format Doctor Who has enjoyed now for over 15 years. Which brings me to my earlier point about being outgrown. Not necessarily because the audience are getting older and therefore shedding childhood fancies, but because it has failed to stay on the beating heart of development like it had in 1963. Much like in the 80s, the Doctor Who as seen in 2020 is suffering from the very format that granted its success in 2005. A cursory look at other sci-fi and fantasy television shows such as The Boys, Game of Thrones and Stranger Things proves that audiences are enjoying long-form, serialized storytelling, a focus on character and world building as much as, if not more so, than spectacle. Even the most popular shows outside the genre, such as Breaking Bad, have utilized this format to great effect. The only successful comparable example still using the Monster of the Week format that I can think of is The Mandalorian. But in my opinion, despite how enjoyable the series is, this has been its biggest obstacle to success. And the same can certainly be said for The Witcher.
Fuck.
The casting of Jodie Whittaker as the first female Doctor came from a perceived need for change, and while the experiment may not have been as successful as many had hoped, the show was simply doing as it always had done by attempting to remain relevant. In an era of female-centric remakes and reboots rather than original content, I'm not surprised that the current makers of Doctor Who saw this as the future and wanted to get ahead, with Whittaker's exit expected at the end of Series 13, possibly coinciding with the departure of Chibnall. It may be time for Doctor Who to change once again, not with a superficial gender swap, but by allowing its strongest feature, its ideas, to live outside the 45-minute time slot. Just take a look at what Star Wars and Marvel are doing right now over on Disney+. Look at the number of shows being made in those universes, how each story will eventually link up and cross over. There is no reason why Doctor Who can't be doing the same, or better. Just imagine how much story, how many ideas could be embraced by so many. For the show to survive, perhaps we should be asking what the show should be. Perhaps we should be asking, Doctor Who?